Dear students, we have seen how to determine the deformation of a bar. Suppose this is a bar, its cross-sectional area is circular. Suppose if I apply pull forces on the ends, normal forces, you find it is subjected to stresses. Now here the cross-section from one end to another end is uniform. So the stress will be uniform because the load is the same. We in practice come across the bars which are tapering like this. The cross sections will not be remaining same, so stress cross section goes on changing, so stress will also go on changing. So in such cases we cannot use the formula pi PL by AE formula, because A is changing here from one point to the other point. So in such cases we have got derived formulas wherein we are directly using the formula in getting the deformation of the bar, either tensile or compressive. See here, if you see to the cross section, it is a rectangular cross section. It has got a uniform thickness from one end to the other end. So we call this as the rectangular tapering bar because the cross section is rectangular. The other form of bar we have to come across is circular tapering, a Joukowsky. So it is a circular portion. It has got a diameter here, smaller diameter to bigger diameter. So here the diameter is going on changing, so the section will also go on changing. So we will be seeing two cases here: tapering bars with circular cross section and tapering bar with rectangular cross section. So both we are going to see today how to find out the deformation of the bar. So suppose if we take tapering circular bar. So if L is the length of the bar, it is subjected to any force P axially, normal force. It has got a diameter of D here and it has got a diameter of small d here, or you can call D1 and D2, any notation you can use. So capital D is for bigger diameter and small d is for smaller diameter. So the deformation for this is given by 4PL by pi E dd. 4PL by pi E dd. So for this particular member, you want to know the deformation, you directly use the formula 4PL by pi E dd. Remember this formula. So this is for tapering circular cross section. So second type is tapering rectangular cross section. So here also so this is the length of the member L. It is subjected to axial force P and P on the ends. It is going to deform. Let this be big B and let this be small b. And it has got certain thickness. This thickness is uniform from one end to other, then we will call this thickness as T. So this is the thickness of the member. This is bigger B and this is smaller b. So in this case, the deformation is given by delta L is equal to PL by E into T into B minus B, big B minus small b, log of big B by small b to the base E. So this is the formula you will be using directly if the bar is rectangular tapering. So these two formulas are to be remembered. Sometimes they are asked in the examination. So I have sent you the derivations. Go through those derivations and try to by heart them. So just we will see a simple example for the application of these two formulas what we have written. So let us take a problem here. So So this is a tapering circular bar. So it is 12.5 mm diameter here, and the diameter here is 40 mm. 40 mm, and this diameter is uniform from here to here. Let this diameter be 40 mm. So 22.5 mm, and this has got a thickness, means it's a rectangular tapering bar. So this is the thickness what will be coming across. So this is 12.5 on one side, the other side will remain as 22.5 only. So this is 12.5, this is 20. So this is circular tapering bar. This is also circular tapering bar. This is a rectangular bar. So this is aluminum material. This is steel, and this is also of steel. So these two are made up of steel. This is made up of aluminum. Whenever there are different material, the modulus of elasticity will be changing. Now here it is subjected to forces. 4P here, 2P here, P here, and here it is subjected to 3P. Subjected to 3P. So let us call this portion A, B, C, D. So these are the details which are given to you in the problem. Now, the problem what is asked is, what will be the value of P if the total deformation of the member is 2 mm. So instead of asking the total deformation by giving the loads, he has asked to find out the value of P such that the total deformation is 2 mm. So delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3 is equal to 2 mm. And you know how to find out delta L1, delta L2 and delta L3. So let us solve this problem. Let us call this as 1. This will call it as 2. This will call it as 3. So total so for portion AB, if I take this portion AB or 1, so it is tapering like this. This diameter is 40. This diameter is 12.5 mm. It is subjected to a force of 4P. Definitely here also the force will be 4P. Here if I cut it, 4P means this will be 4P. Let us check still. This is 2P right, positive. This is minus P because it is towards left. This is 3P. It is towards right, so it will be positive. So if you simplify this, you get 4P and right side because it is positive. So we got this first. So likewise you can check it. First and last portion, as I told you, there will be no problem. Only thing you will have to decide for middle portion. So if I take this portion A1, directly we know the formula. Delta L1 is equal to 4PL by pi E dd. Directly substitute the values, you get the value of P. So it will be 4 into P is the load acting, which is 4P. Length of the member, let me get the length of the member. This is 500 mm. This is 800 mm. And let us take this as 400 mm. So here length of the member is 500. So if I substitute that as 500 divided by, we are using two types of material. Modulus of elasticity for aluminum, AL, it is given by 70 kilonewton per mm square. Whereas the modulus of elasticity for the steel is given to as 200 kilonewton per mm square. These are the values given to you. So you are finding out P in this. Given total deformation, given EA, given ES. So here pi E, it is made up of aluminum. So aluminum is 70 into 10 to the power of 3 to convert it in Newton, into D is the bigger D, 40 mm, and small d is the small diameter. This small diameter is 12.5 mm. If you simplify this, you get the deformation as 10.61 p. This is subjected to elongation, so it will be positive. It will be positive. Next, I will go to portion 2 or BC. BC or 2. So if I take it out, cut it out, it is having a diameter of 22.5 mm. It has got a length of 800 mm. Now you will have to determine the loads that are acting. Now if I cut it into two portions, left and right, on left side there are two forces acting. So this is minus because it is left. So minus 4p left. This is right plus 2p. It is right. So what is the net effect here? It will be minus 2p. So minus means it is towards left like this, 2p. Check it on the right hand side. Now here if you see, there is a force minus p because it is left, minus p. There is a force of 3p. It is towards right. So it will be positive. So the net effect is, you are seeing 2p means it is towards right. 2p. So this is the middle portion, you will have to check it. So these are the forces acting. This is a uniform cross sectional bar. We will use the general formula here. Delta L2 is equal to PL by A, our general formula. So this will be equal to P is how much here? 2p into length of the member is 800 divided by E is uniform cross sectional area, pi by 4 into diameter is 22.5 square into E. The material is of steel. So what is the modulus of elasticity of steel? 200 into 10 to the power of 3. If you simplify this, you get this is equal to 0.0201 p. This is subjected to tension, so it will be elongation. This is also elongation. Now next, coming to the last portion. So delta L1 after calculation we get it as 0.0728 p. I had written that wrong value. Please do the correction. So this is the value of delta when you calculate the values. So here we will go for the portion CD or third portion. It is a tapering bar with this width is equal to same width 22.5. Here the width of the member is 12.5. Length of the member is 400 mm. So here you know this portion, it is taking a load of 3p. So definitely here also there will be a load of 3p. So first and last portion no problem. So we will have to use the formula because it is a tapering bar and the thickness of this member given to you is 5 mm. Please take this thickness is 5 mm. If I take it as 5 mm, so this thickness is equal to 5 mm. Now we will have to use directly the formula delta L3, and the formula what we have used is PL by ET into B minus B into log of B by B to the base E. So you'll have to simplify the values in this. So P is here equal to 3P into length of the member is 400. E, it is made up of steel. So Young's modulus for steel is 200 into 10 to the power of 3 into thickness is 5 mm into B, bigger B is 22.5 minus smaller b is 12.5. This is whole thing in the denominator. Then log of bigger width is 22.5 divided by smaller width b is 12.5. and this is to the base E. So if you simplify this, you get the value of delta L3 is equal to 0.0306 P. So you got delta 1, delta 2, delta 3. Now you have to find out what is the value of P here. Instead of finding out the total deformation, so we are going to find out what is the value of P. So the condition what he has given is the total deformation so delta L what is taking place is equal to delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3. We know all the three values. If we substitute them, so total deformation is 2 mm. So delta L1 is 0.0728 P plus delta L2 is 0.0201 P plus delta 3. All the members are in tension, so I am going on adding it. So delta L3 will be equal to 0.0306 P. Now here the only unknown is P, so the value of P will be equal to 16.19 kilonewton. 16.19 kilonewton. Or I can give the load P into 4, 16.14 into 4. Load will be given to you, deformation will be asked to you. So these are the types of problem what you see in the composite cross section, either uniform cross section or tapering cross section. Now we'll go to the another category of problems. You know what is a column or a vertical member? Column is a member which will be taking load, and that load will be compressive because it will be pressing the column down. So you see the compressive type of load in the case of a column. Suppose we will see compound or composite bars. Compound or composite bars. Compound and composite sections we have seen. So we will see bars today. Let us see, for example, suppose if I take two columns here, one column, two column, and these two columns is carrying a load like this, W or P. Now this is one column, this is two column. Cross section area of A1 will be different, cross section area of A2 may be different. This may be of steel and this may be of aluminum or copper, any material. So these are E1 and E2. Now total load what is acting should be transferred to the ground. How it will go? It will go through the columns. Now whatever load you are putting, some of the load is taken by 1 and some of the load is taken by 2. But whatever load is coming, this has to be taken by the two materials only. Suppose if I give another column here, so load in the 1, 2, 3 columns must be equal to the total load acting. So here, suppose if this is taking a load of P1 and if this is taking a load of P2, then total load, we'll see total load is equal to P is equal to, what is the total load? Load in 1 plus load in 2 plus load in 3, any number of columns that are there. Now here we know stress is equal to load by area. So what will be load? Stress into area. So the total load will be equal to sigma 1 A1 plus sigma 2 A2. This is one condition what we will be using. Now the aim of ours is to find out the stresses in the members. So how much will be the stress in 1, how much will be the stress in 2. How you can find out stresses? If you know the loads in the members. Now here to know the load, there are two unknowns here. We need two equilibrium conditions. Now this is one. Second is, whenever the load is acting, both will get compressed by same amount. So this load will be moving like this down. So if this is delta L1, this is delta L2. Load is remaining horizontal, means whatever compression deformation is taking in one, same deformation will be taking in two. Now here, deformation of one is equal to deformation of two. That is, delta L1 must be equal to delta L2. Now here, if both the columns are of same length, then we know what is change in length by original length. It is strain. Lengths are same, so strain will also be same, because deformation is same, length is same. So here, strain in one is equal to strain in two. So what is strain in one is E1 is equal to E2. We know Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. So what will be strain equal to stress by Young's modulus. So this will be sigma 1 by E1 is equal to sigma 2 by E2. So this is the second condition what we will be using to solve the problem. This is first condition and this second condition. How many unknowns are? 2. One is sigma 1 and another is sigma 2. You need two conditions to solve them. So you get these conditions, you will be getting the stresses acting in the compound bar. Now, whenever you come across such type of bar, remember two conditions. One is total load is equal to load in 1 plus load in 2, which will be equal to sigma n A1 plus sigma 2 A2, one condition. Second condition is strain in 1 is equal to strain in 2. So E1 will be equal to E2, or sigma 1 by E1 must be equal to sigma 2 by E2. So using these two conditions, we can find out the stresses in any composite members. Strain in 1 is equal to strain in 2. Total load acting is equal to sum of the load acting in all the members. There may be 1, 2, 3, any number of members acting. So the strain will remain same in all the members. We'll see a simple example to find out what is the load acting in the two different material. So you have seen column. Column is made up of RCC. Suppose this is a cross section of a column. Cross section. If this is a column, if I cut it like this is a cross section of the column. Now here these columns will be carrying rods, steel rods. It will be carrying steel rod, and this is the concrete part. So this, if it is a column, it will be taking load. So you find there are two materials, one is steel, the other one is the rods. So whatever load is coming, some load is taken by the steel rod and some load is taken by the concrete, but both are of same length. So you will have to use the two conditions what we have seen. How much is the stress in the steel and how much is the stress in the column. Now here the dimensions are given to in the problem. If this is 230 mm and if the depth of the column is 400 mm, if it is carrying 6 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 bars of 20 mm file, means diameter of each bar is 20 mm and there are 6 number of bars. You are required to find out the stresses in the column. Now here it is subjected to a load of, the total load that is coming on the column is 400 kilonewton. So total load is known to you, 400 kilonewton. He has given the stress Young's modulus of steel. This is how much? 2.1 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. This is the stress coming in steel, Young's modulus of steel, and he has also given the Young's modulus of concrete is 0.15 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. Young's modulus is steel is more than the Young's modulus of column. So here you are required to find out what are the stresses in steel and what are the stresses in concrete. These two things you will have to determine. So you will be using two conditions here. Now the first condition what we will be using is let sigma S and sigma C be the stresses in steel and concrete. So we use strain in steel is equal to strain in concrete, because both will get pressed by the same value. Deflection will be same, length is same, so both will be having the same elongation. So strain in one is equal to strain in C. So and we have seen this is equal to Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. So strain will be stress divided by Young's modulus. So this is for steel, this is for steel. So this will be equal to sigma C by EC. Now you know these two values. Let us substitute them. So sigma S is equal to ES by EC into sigma C. If I substitute the value of ES is 2.1 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by EC is 0.15 into 10 to the power of 5 into sigma C. If you simplify this, you get the relation between sigma 1 and sigma 2 is equal to sigma S is equal to 14 sigma C. 14 sigma C. So we got one relation here by using strain in 1 is equal to strain in 2. Second condition will use total load P is equal to load in steel plus load in concrete. Load in steel plus load in concrete. Now here this total load is equal to, so we know stress is equal to load by area. So load will be stress into area. So it will be sigma S AS plus sigma C AC. Now where AS and AC are the area of steel and area of concrete. So we'll calculate here area of steel and area of concrete. So total area of column. Out of that, if I remove the area of steel, I will get the area of concrete. So total area of the column is 230 by 400. 230 by 400. And area of steel is, how many bars are there? There are 6 bars. What is the diameter of each bar? 20 mm. So what is the cross section of 1 bar? Pi by 4 into 20 square. This is area of 1 bar. Like this there are 6 bars. If you simplify this, you get the value as 1884.96 mm square. When this is the area of steel, the remaining will be the area of concrete. So area of concrete will be area of column 230 by 400 minus area of steel 1884.96. If you simplify this, the area of the concrete what you will be getting is 90115.4 mm square. Now if you simplify the values and if you substitute here, total load is given to as 400 kilonewton. You convert it in Newton, 10⁻³ is equal to sigma S into AS. Area of steel is 1884.96 plus sigma C into area of concrete is 90115.4 mm. Now here we have got relation between sigma S and sigma C. Sigma S is 14 times of sigma C. Let us substitute here 14 times of sigma C into 1884.96 plus sigma C into 90115.4. So only unknown here is sigma C. If you simplify, you get the value of sigma C is equal to 3.433 Newton per mm square. Now if I substitute this in 1, I will get the value of sigma S. So sigma S will be equal to 14 into 3.433. You get the stress in steel as 48.06 Newton per mm square. 48.06 Newton per mm square. So this is the way you will have to find out the stress in steel and stress in concrete. So principles what we are using: strain in 1 is equal to strain in 2. Second is total load is equal to load in 1 plus load in 2. Subscribe the channel for more videos. Comment for questions in the comment section. Press the bell icon for notification. We'll continue next video. Thank you.